Hello everybody, my name is Ola. I'm living currently in North Carolina and I came to the USA a year ago, and I spent half of my life in Kazakhstan till I was 18 probably, yeah. And then I moved to Russia and I spent the other half of my life, in Russia, and last year we moved here in the USA, so my next 20 years are going to be here. And now I'm working in preschool as a teacher assistant. And this video I wanted to make about the preschool system. I want to compare two systems because Kazakhstan and Russia are typically post-Soviet area. So the preschool and school systems are typically the same in Kazakhstan, Belarus, Ukraine, Russia, and probably some other countries. I know those three for sure. Maybe there are more countries which have the same system, but okay. But they're totally different from the system in USA. So let's see the difference. I will not be sitting on the screen for the whole video, so while you are listening to me, you can also see some views. I will post some videos which I was making. I will try to find some videos about kindergartens because I'm not going to use any videos from my preschool where I'm working because it's prohibited for some private issues. So parents didn't give allowance to post any video, so I'm not going to use because I'm never using my mobile at work. And I will just find some videos or photos online which are in for everybody. You can find them yourself, so that I will use only those which remind me of my place of work. And I will try to find something about Russian preschool system also. I don't have any from my, maybe I have some from my son's preschool, but I don't really remember if I have many of them. So I will take some videos from the common resources, and so that you could see, maybe build your own understanding of it. So okay, let's start. I don't know where the system is better. They are completely different and you cannot really say if it's better or worse. So in Russian, the preschool system belongs to the state, so it's cheaper for parents, and there is a guarantee from the state, from government, that your children will go to preschool and you can go to work after your child is 2.5 or maybe 3 years old. I know that nowadays a parent can be on the maternity leave or paternity leave, parent leave, after having a baby for 3 years, and these 3 years will be paid by your employer. If you were unemployed before you got a baby, or you had been unemployed before you got a baby, the same 3 years will be paid by the government. Though the money will be not as big. I know that actually the problem of money is the big problem, because when I had my babies, I was unemployed. I had like my own business, or actually I started my own business. Because of it, I couldn't find any job after university, and because I had a baby, I couldn't find a job as well, because when they are hiring, they see that you have a baby and they always ask this question, if you have a baby, and then that's like impossible to get any jobs, and that's it. So government pays you for your staying with the baby. Not much. I got, as I remember, I had about 6,000 rubles. It was 10 years ago. I had 6,000 rubles per month because I had 2 babies. I know that if you have only one first baby, you have smaller payments. That's really little money. It's not possible to buy food for a month, and it's not possible for buy clothes for a baby. I don't know what this money is. Just it's a joke, a bad joke from the government. But yet they are paying it. But if you have 2 parents, it's kind of possible, because one parent can work and the second parent can stay at home. Some families can afford this. Some families are struggling with it. That's why they usually ask their grandparents for helping, because grandparents by this time are usually retired, so they're kind of not as busy, and they can take care of a child while parents start working. But still, mother usually stays with the baby till the baby is 2 years old, because preschool system doesn't take a child to the preschool, to kindergarten, let's call it, until the baby can go, until the baby is potty trained, until the baby can go without a diaper, because it's impossible to get your child into preschool or into kindergarten with a diaper. Babies all go to a potty. I know there are really little babies rooms, but the number of them is really limited and it's impossible to get one. Maybe in some super conditions. And there are, of course, private preschools, private kindergartens, but their price is for high salary parents. I know. Actually, my son went to private kindergarten, let's call it a preschool, because he was 5-year-old or 6-year-old by that time. And why is it difficult to get a preschool? So when children are born, parents usually already start applying, because there is a line of people waiting for this spot for their child in the preschool, in the kindergarten. That's why they usually file their application form as soon as the child is born, as soon as they have documents with a name on it and social security number, like the social, there is a different name for it, but okay, it's something like that. And after it, parents apply, and then they need to wait for 2 years. Especially if you live in a bigger city, there is a problem with them. I lived in the suburban area, 20 minutes drive from the city, kind of village area. But yeah, our kindergarten was not big, but we were waiting for 1 year, and then our baby had a spot in it. And he started going when he was 2.5, I believe. Yeah, after he was potty trained, after he was quite independent on his own, and he didn't speak. But yeah, he learned to speak right there, because as soon as they go to this school, they start speaking, because they see society around them and they learn to speak from each other. I don't know, it's magic how it works, but it works. Okay, what's different about American system? As I understand, in America, there are no governmental preschools. Preschools or child development center, or what do they call them, kindergartens, are only private. There can be home-based children's centers. They're usually smaller, and there are there are not that much children in them, and it's usually a homeowner. They organize some center in their house, and they organize it somehow. I don't know about certification or how it works. I was just reading some information and watch some videos, but I'm not really into the system. I don't know how this exactly system works. And there can be centers outside. The price for them, is the same. In Russia, I paid 1,000 rubles or 2,000 rubles later. When was it? It was 5 years ago. And now here in the USA, the same. They pay $1,000 a month. 1,000 rubles, $1,000. But the salaries are different, so yeah. As I understand, so what was my salary? When my son went to kindergarten, I paid 1,500. Okay, let's make it 2,000. 2,000 rubles a month, and my salary was 15,000 rubles. 15, and I paid 2 to the kindergarten. My husband got higher salary. He had maybe 30,000 rubles per month, his salary. So it's middle-sized salary. It's not the highest, it's just average salary around the country. Not in big cities somewhere, but not in Moscow. Moscow is different. We are not talking about it. Here in the USA, the salaries are, I don't know, the smallest range is about 2, 3, 5,000 per month. So these people cannot afford preschool, because 1,000 paying for preschool is too much. I guess those people who send their children to preschool get higher salaries. Okay, so that's the system. Now let's look deeper. In the Russian system, the state governmental kindergarten has classrooms divided by age. All groups are different age. Here in the USA the same, so they are divided by age, like 1 year difference for all groups. The size of groups are different. In Russia, the size of group is about 20 to 30 children. Here in the USA, 20 children is a maximum. And in Russia, there is one teacher and one, we call it a nurse, but it's like teacher assistant. So 2 adults in a room. But okay, they work like half a day. So half a day, and in the middle of the day, the other group, the other adults come. So they work half a day because they work from 7 till 7. Here in the city, they work from 6 till 6, or from 6:30 till 6. And the number of teachers is different depending on the age. So in our class, we have 15 children, and there are 1, 2, 3, 3 adults. So it's like 5 children for 1 adult. Not 5, let's call it like 6, 7 children. Because depending on the group, depending on the age, the amount of is different. What's next? So the thing which is really different is the health system. For example, when my son went to preschool, if he has runny nose or if his nose is stuffed, he was not allowed to preschool. Like, for example, if I wipe his nose in the morning, he looks fine to me, I give him to the preschool. Somewhere in the morning, like at 10 o'clock, there is a medical worker. In every preschool there is a medical worker, and in the morning she starts going around the groups, around the classrooms, and she checks the health. So if they notice some baby being ill, like runny nose, a stuffed nose, is a symptom to call a parent and tell them, please come pick up your baby now, because that's already illness, especially if the runny noses can be like some greenish stuff or whatever. If there is a temperature like 37 degrees Celsius, I will check in Fahrenheit because it's different. It's like 98 Fahrenheit. That's a phone call emergency. Come and pick up your baby because the baby is sick. 37 Celsius is already ill. That's it. Parents must take the baby away, and then they must go to doctors, and the child can go back to the center only after they bring the note from a doctor that the child is not ill anymore. It's like usually a week. So I take my child, I see his runny nose, I cure him, I treat him with medicine, with drinks, somehow, whatever is prescribed for me by a doctor. And then I go to a doctor again for the first time when he started being ill, and then when he is healthy. So the doctor checks my baby, and then they write me a note with a stamp on it that it's official document that the child is not ill, that the child is healthy, and he can go back to this preschool, wherever they go. And with this application note, I can go back with the child to the preschool. Without it, it's not possible. And this time will be not paid by me. So if I pay like usual 1,000 ruble per month, if my child was out for a week, they will cut this payment off. So I will pay less for this month. In American system, as I understand, whether you go or you don't go to the child development center, you will pay for the whole month. Nobody cares. That's your spot. You occupied it. You're paid for it, even if your child is not there. The thing is that here the health understanding is different. So they are here with all their runny noses, all noses stuffed, everything is possible. If the baby has pinky eye, so it's contagious disease, then they will call the parent and ask them to take them away, to take the baby home. And about temperature, the same. they check the temperature. So when the temperature is about 98 Fahrenheit, it's totally healthy. 100, totally healthy. 102, still totally healthy. I would have been in panic if my son had a temperature like 102 Fahrenheit, because for me it's already serious disease, and I understand that in baby's conditions it's already dangerous, because within 2-3 hours something terrible can happen to the baby with this temperature, and I don't understand that. That's why I actually want to quit this job, because I understand that as soon as somebody will be ill and they have some temperature, and maybe there is some severe disease which we don't know about, and then something wrong might happen, like 102 Fahrenheit now, within 30 minutes it can be whatever, it can be fever, and the baby can die out of it. And I don't know whose fault it's gonna be, because the development center is only responsible for calling a parent after their temperature is 104. I don't understand how this works. It feels like I'm complaining a lot about health and so on, but it really affects my health a lot, because all those children being contagious, they bring these diseases to me, and I had sore throat, I have temperature after them, and then I cannot really speak for long periods. That's why sometimes I have troubles with making videos, because I'm not really able to talk at the moment. Okay, so let's move to the next point. It's technically connected to health, I would say, because it's about hygiene. Again, we'll compare Americans group and the Russian classroom, how it is usually organized. So how do children get potty trained and washing hands procedure, or else, hygiene issues, because that's related to health directly. Microorganisms, viruses, and so on. Dirty hands, they bring diseases. All right, so in my preschool, where I went when I was a child, where I used to go, there was a toilet room. It was big, and we had special sinks for washing hands, and we had like 3-4, because maybe even more, because we even had our toothbrushes there. After breakfast we went to the bathroom and we were brushing our teeth, and they were specially made for children, so they were not tall, they were not high, they were for our age group. Actually, this interesting thing, so that will be next. So children move from room to room with age, because some equipment in the groups inside classrooms is specially designed for different age groups, but the teacher goes together with them. Oh, I didn't mention that. Oh, yes. Stop. No, okay, let's get back. So we were brushing our teeth and we could wash our hands, and there were several sinks. So of course there were not 20 of them, so we could do it in line, but it wasn't a line of 20 people. So like 3-4 sinks is enough to wash hands quite fast. The same with toilets. There were, I don't really remember a toilet, but I guess there was. But I remember my son's classroom. So they had little toilets, but before, when they were little, like 3-year-old, the toilet is quite big for them. So we, as parents, we needed to buy special potties for them. And it's not that our preschool provided these potties for them. We were supposed to buy them, bring them with the names or stickers with some pictures, so that the child would know that it's his or her potty. And they just gave us a general recommendation what was the potty is supposed to be like nothing fancy, just regular potty with a lid. That's it. And all children will go into these potties together. Like okay, it's party time, so everybody's going, everybody's sitting in a row. No, not everybody, like 5 by 5, so that it wouldn't be overcrowded. And children could go, and it's actually kind of good for potty training, because they sit, they don't get distracted, and they look at each other, like one is doing and the other are trying to repeat after them. But what is happening in an American group, like we have only one toilet, so we take one child, put them on the toilet, and everybody's playing around outside, and they can hear the sounds of play, and they don't really want to sit on the toilet because they're interested in going away real quick, and they just say, I'm done, that's it, I'm done. And then they get their diaper on and they pee in the diaper because they are interested in playing. They don't really want to sit on the potty. That's why it's never happening. Okay, some of them are able to do that because they've been trained maybe at home, I don't know. That's complicated thing about potty training. And the same about washing hands, because in American preschool they have only one sink. I didn't really see any sinks in school, but they have them in the toilet, so I guess there are. I don't know. I don't know. That's the other problem. I didn't see any sinks at school. I went to my child's school, and I didn't see sinks before the canteen. Like in Russian school, there is a canteen, and before canteen, like in the hall, in the common hall, they installed about 5, 6 sinks, so the people who are going into the canteen, before entering canteen, they could wash their hands. So hand washing procedure is normal and it's typical, and everybody knows that you must wash your hands before starting your food. And here in the USA, they don't ever do it. The same we can see on TV, like the real sitcom, like every sitcom, when they start cooking or they start coming, that's just, even in sitcoms, I just noticed it once, like the father came home and he's in his jacket and he just sits immediately, right away, in his outside clothes, and he just starts sitting. And that was strange to me, and I just realized, really? They don't wash their hands. About outside clothes. So that's next point. Here in the USA, children come to the classroom, they have some clothes on them. Oh, it was scary for me in the wintertime, because I normally wear several layers. I have a jacket, I have my sweater, and then I have a t-shirt, and it's normal. The same, I have jeans, I have underpants. In the wintertime, I do wear underpants, like leggings, because it's cold, so I need to have an extra layer. And children in the preschool, they just wear one layer at a time. It's all right, for example, for being inside. So they have these leggings, the same as me. But I do have these leggings under my jeans. And when I go outside, I'm fine. Technically, when I'm inside, it's not hot for me because there is air conditioner. And with an air conditioner inside the classroom, I never feel hot because it's kind of chilly. Okay then. And so in Russian preschools, children have extra layers of clothes for outside. Like when it's winter, parents are supposed to, they come in these winter clothes, and they have special cabinets for putting these clothes in, the hooks, and they put them. And then when it's time to go outside for playing, nanny, nurse, and the teacher usually start putting these clothes on. It is a hard process because if you have like 20 or 15, even 15 children in your group, and you need to get them all dressed all together, it's difficult, especially if children are little and they cannot really get dressed themselves. But as I saw, I know that they do it in layers. Like they start putting on tights. First the tights. So in a group, they are wearing one type of clothes. So when they go outside, they need to take off inside clothes, like pants, inside pants. No, t-shirt is okay. You don't change it, it's under, it goes under sweater. So, but they take off pants and they start putting on tights, and then they put on winter pants, right? And their jackets and sweaters if they have them. depending on the weather type. And as I know, in Russian preschools, they do it in layers. Like everybody is putting on tights. When everybody's done, they start putting on sweaters. Then they start putting on winter pants, and then jackets. If everybody's trained, they do it quite fast. If not, so if children are too small, I know that nanny or nurse helps, and they do it in lines. Like they finish 5 children and push them outside so that children wouldn't start sweating. And one of teachers goes outside, and then the other teacher finishes the other 5 and pushes them outside, and then the next 5, and so on, so on, so on. So in this way they can do it quite fast, and nobody's sweating, and that's organized order. In American preschool, we just have our jackets, and when I say jacket, it's sometimes something really thin. Some parents really don't understand what the weather is like outside, because they are in their cars and they don't care about the weather. And I just pointed out to some parent one day in the winter, because the child had some really thin jacket, and the parent came and they said, "Don't you think that it's kind of not weather appropriate?" And he said, "No, it's okay." And I said, "Compare your jacket, which you are wearing now, and your son's jacket." And he looked at his jacket, looked at his son, and the next day his son came in a normal jacket. Maybe I'm rude, but I take care of the children who are being under my care. I don't understand some parents. Maybe they are not prepared. Maybe they don't think. I don't know what they think about, but yes, sometimes it's like really weird to me. All right, so that's about clothes. One more interesting, from my perspective, point to talk about is architecture. When I see the building, which belongs to the preschool system in Russia, I have no doubt that it's a preschool, that it's kindergarten, because they were all built, they were all designed and then built in the same scheme. So they had the whole plan of building, and it repeats all over the country, everywhere you go. Right now, I could see, like 2 years ago, I noticed several new kindergartens, and they were really new and they were designed differently. And they said, wow, they looked amazing and differently. But yeah, those which were made in Soviet time, they had good plan, as I understand. So I will put the plan of a building out here. Of course, I understand that in some areas, like in rural areas, somewhere where not so many children, because a normal kindergarten is designed for the big number of children going, because it's actually related to the urbanization in Russia, because the big city has a lot of people, and all people are gathered together in big cities. And if you go a little bit if you move away from just 10, 20 kilometers away from the city, it's a really rural area, it's a village type, and that will be more difficult to find something people outside there. In the USA it's different, because people live everywhere. It's like rural everywhere. I've never been to big cities now. So the plan of a building is typically the same. It has separated parts, and it's not higher than 2-story building. It's related to fire protection or fire requirements, or fire protection requirements, I don't know what it's called, because it's children, so they need to have access to the outside, and in case of the fire, they would have been able to escape safely, and even if they need to just drop them from the window, they will not die, right? But there are always, the second floor usually has access to the balcony with the steps down. Yes, they never use them, but again, because they are especially designed for fire alarm situations. We never had fire alarm like drilling situations, because it never happened in my experience. Because again, they design differently. Here in the USA, preschool has a kitchen inside. So the kitchen is in the building, and it's in the center of the building. So if there is something wrong with cooking procedures and it's kitchen, it's always danger. Even electrical issues or just fire issues, whatever. So the fire will spread and it will be exactly in the building. That's why we had, within 3 months, we already had three drilling. I don't know if it was a training. I hope it was just training. But I know that we would have just failed. But no, we just ran outside quite fast. It's all right. And in Russia, when I say Russia, post-Soviet countries, this kitchen is in the separate building, because kitchen is normally big again. There are many groups. There are, I don't know, we had 2 little groups. So it starts 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old. So there are 5 age groups, and all these groups, like, they have 2 groups, I guess, for all groups. So it's about 10 groups as minimal for children. 10, 15, because some ages can be, yeah, because after 5-year-old, I know that there are more groups for 5-year-old and 6-year-old, because some parents don't give their children to the preschool till they are 5. My sister didn't do it. Like, she stayed at home till her son was 5, and then she gave him to the preschool system, and then she started working. Until 5-year-old, she just homeschooled him. And what I wanted to say. So this scheme, as you can see in the picture, I will try to put it out there, is like a spider web, and all these groups are separated. Even if there is a fire, it will be easily located within one part of the building. It will not spread away, because the building is connected with hallways, and hallways are normally empty. Maybe in new buildings there are curtains on the windows, but it's usually some really thin material, and it's like flash away fast, and there is nothing else in the corridor, in the hall, and it will just stop burning, as I understand. So that's why actually about fire protection, there are no paper walls on the walls. We wanted our preschool group, our classroom, look nicely, and we wanted to buy paper walls for our children's group, and we wanted to make the decoration there, but our teacher said that it's prohibited to use paper walls because it's fire system recommendation. So that's just painted walls. Alright. So in some preschools, actually in my kindergarten from my childhood, there was even a swimming pool inside, and I remember we had swimming classes not for babies, but for some like 5-6-year-old children. I don't really remember them. Actually, my son went to the swimming classes when he was 3-year-old. So yeah, they do have it. The thing is, again, I'm coming back to the health system. So when the child is ill, like when he has runny nose or temperature, he's excluded from preschool, and he must go with parents to the doctor to get the notification from a doctor that he is ill, and then after a week of staying home, when he has clear nose and no temperature, the doctor checks again, and then he writes a paper, or they write a paper, that the child is allowed to go to this preschool system. And after this, we can come back and continue going to preschool. And when the child is ill, so they cannot attend swimming lessons. So there is a exclusion, I don't really know what it's called. So the child is excluded from swimming for 2 other weeks after the child was ill, because it's still a recovery process, and if you put a just recently ill child into cold water, they will become ill all over again. So they need to recover. And so my son had the swimming classes, and within 1 year he went to swimming classes maybe 3 times. Because that's normal. For the first year of going to preschool, it's kind of normal that they rebuild or build for the first time the immune system, that they catch all these viruses and illnesses, and they go to preschool for 1-2 weeks, then they catch something and they start having runny noses, and then they are out for a week or maybe 2. A week is usually fine, but then again you need to get a doctor visit, and that takes some days, because not every day is available. And there are always crowds in the hospital, and then you go to the hospital and you get something new. Yeah. Okay, so I know that there are more and more things which are different in different countries, and I understand that this video can be endless. I guess it's enough for you now. If you have any questions, if you are interested in learning something more, or just comparing, I can make more videos about this, like school system or so over, because I lived for 20 years, yes, for 18, 20, okay, something about that. 20 years I lived in Kazakhstan, and then we moved to Russia because I went to university to study in Russia, and then I had a family in Russia, and now we all moved with immigrational program, like working in immigrational visa, EB3. We moved to the USA. Or if you're interested in learning something about immigration to the USA with EB3 visa, you can ask me. I can give you some recommendations how to start the process, and yeah, there is actually, yes, there are several ways how to start this process, but if you're interested, just text me, write a comment, I will answer. So thank you for watching. See you later. Bye bye.